Okay. This time I want to talk about what an SSRI is. I'm sure you've heard the term a lot if you've been prescribed any antidepressant. And it stands for Selective, Serotonin, Reuptake, Inhibitor. Well, that was really fucking useful, right? So, I'm gonna break this down for you. But first, I recommend you look at my video on neurons so you can see how they work on a basic level. Because I'm going to be using some of that information here. So, first, we will forget about these words and just worry about reuptake inhibitor. What's a reuptake inhibitor? Okay. So let's say we have a soma, axon, soma, axon. And then we got neurotransmitters here. So we're going to put, in this case we'll have serotonin here. Okay? Now this part between the axon and the soma is called the synapse. And if a neurotransmitter is outside the axon and outside the soma and in the synapse, it's active. So what happens is the soma, in this case, fires serotonin into the synapse, and then it does its thing, and then a process called reuptake happens, where either of these will grab the serotonin and bring it back inside the somas of the cells. Now, what a reuptake inhibitor does, let's put that serotonin back. Well, what a serotonin reuptake inhibitor does is prevents that. Now the serotonin can no longer be taken back up into the cell. It's stuck in the synapse and it's forced to stay active. So this keeps the serotonin more active. And you might want to think, oh, so more active serotonin means more happiness. And it turned out to be a lot more complicated than that. That's what we thought in the 80s when we were first developing these drugs, but we're not really sure why they work, actually. One hypothesis is something called downregulation of the 5-HT2A receptor. But that's just one hypothesis and a whole 10-minute video right there. So, the reason I crossed this out is because you can have other neurotransmitters that get re-upped, that get a release in the synapse. And in this case it's dopamine, and there's re-uptake inhibitors for dopamine as well. The most famous one is called Adderall. It keeps the dopamine in the synapse so you can focus. There is NE, GABA. Let's see. And then we have the serotonin and dopamine. Off the top of my head, these are the four neurotransmitters, or major neurotransmitters, that have specific transporters that reuptake these neurotransmitters. So when I said, oh, it comes and gets it, it actually sends out a little molecule, you know, and let's say this is the serotonin, to come and get it, and then go back in. And the reuptake inhibitor kind of puts a wedge right there. So, now, other neurotransmitters are reuptaken or put back into the cell through various ways. And I'm sure there are other major neurotransmitters that have reuptake molecules, but these are the four that I can think of off the top of my head. And the selective serotonin part means that it only is a reuptake inhibitor for serotonin. That's because before SSRIs there were tricyclics, and they were reuptake inhibitors for norepinephrine as well, and for a slight amount dopamine. So SSRIs were selective for serotonin, and they weren't reuptake inhibitors for anything else. If it's a reuptake inhibitor for more than serotonin, then it's no longer a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Like, for instance, take the class SNRI and venlafaxine. This is a reuptake inhibitor for serotonin and norepinephrine. So that's the basics of reuptake. I hope you learned a lot about how a lot of your medicines work, because this mechanism is probably about half of at least half of prescribed medicine, or half of prescribed psychiatric medicines work this way at the very least. So this covers a lot of ground. And if you're here to learn about your own medicine, you just learned a lot. So thank you for watching. I hope to see you on the next video.